Hi, I'm Jim Wooldridge. I'm going to tell my story. Um, I think I was born depressed. I really do. I had trouble socializing. Um, Part of it was my home life. There was some child abuse issues, but um, I started first grade. I was having trouble, and I went to see a psychiatrist at that early age, and all I remember is he gave me a little red pill and told my mom that I would change. And I don't know whether that change ever happened, but I had trouble through school. Um, I would miss days because I just could not go. I couldn't go. Now, I One year I missed 30 days. Um, but when I got into high school, it got to be a little better because there was more things that I was interested in, but I still was not a big socialite. Unfortunately, I was undiagnosed, and I used to think I had to make everybody my friend, and some of that included drinking. Um, and and then I got a job, and the job I had, I was driving truck. But when I come into the shop, everybody was drinking, and everybody, that's what they did at 5 o'clock. And uh, make a long story short, I got 2 DUIs in 40 days, uh, which I, before I went to court, I put myself through treatment because I knew that something wasn't right. Um, I'm very fortunate that things fall the way they do. Um, I happened to get a counselor who didn't have very many clients because she was working on her master's degree, and she was quite honest with me, and she says, I don't think you have a drinking problem. I think you have an emotional problem. And in a 28-day program, we don't want to open that can of worms. So um, I've had two hospitalizations. Uh, the first one, I was diagnosed as being bipolar, um, which which wasn't the right diagnosis. But I spent a couple of weeks in there. I learned a lot of things about mental illness because I was with a bunch of people that were mentally ill and different varieties. I got out of the hospital, and uh, things went okay for a while, and then the old depression sneaks back up on you, and I ended up a second time in the hospital. Um, and then that's when I drank, and then I got connected with Janet Waddles, um, and I had a great counselor. I had a great psychologist. Um, in fact, I ended up working for Janet Waddles, um, and I learned how to cope with my depression. And one of the best coping skills is to share. Um, and I became a member of the Stars of Light, which was a great vehicle to do that sharing and to tell people there is hope and there is recovery, which there is. Um, you know, but you got to be careful because it sneaks back up on you. And I've met my lovely wife, who I knew before that 35 years ago, but we got married um, 2 weeks after we got, well, not 2 months after we got together again. That's another thing. You got to have a good support group. And my wife is wonderful. And, you know, I'll never say that I'm completely recovered. I'd rather say I'm in remission. That way I keep looking to make sure that black dog isn't sneaking up on you again. It's a rough thing, but you know, life is great. I got a job, I got a car, I got a house, I got a house payment, and I live a normal life, which is, if you really work at it, it's possible. I know a lot of people that are in the same boat I'm in, have a wonderful life. I have a lot of people that, you know, I share. I don't hide. I tell people that I have problems with depression, and a lot of people, you know, don't believe me. But just 2 weeks ago, I had a panic attack. But I was able to work through it, and I'm fine. Where before, without my skills and my support, I'd have been in the hospital, which probably would have meant I'd have lost my job. But life is great, and you know, you only got one, and you don't need to stand in the past. That's over. You can look back and say, thank God I'm not there. You need to live in the present and look for the future.